I'm sure today every conference on topic X has a talk AI into X. Sahi hai? Right. Many of you think of it as a buzzword. Many of you think of it as just another fad. Many of you think of it as an existential threat. Many of you probably think of it as an opportunity. And the truth lies somewhere in between, right? Let me take 30 seconds to just first talk about, what has led me here and maybe, offer to buy some credibility from you, right? Like you're giving me a chance to address you at, noon Thursday for 15 minutes. Okay. Am I audible at the end? You will just need this for your presentation. For my presentation. All right. Such fancy stuff. Amazing. Right? So coming back to our topic, right? Like AI and supply chain and AI logistics, logistics, supply, AI, machine learning, artificial intelligence, right? So about 15 years back, I was a developer for Amazon. I hand built some of the Amazon machine learning algorithms. That's where I also met my co-founder. Prior to that, I was a researcher in physics. And as the entire last mile piece started in 2014, via a women's safety app, I shifted my focus to logistics. Given I was a complete outsider to logistics, I took a very mathematical approach to solving logistics, and I kind of stumbled in the first phase. My father is a psychiatrist, and then when I consulted with him and we were able to actually incorporate the human angle back into logistics, is where we found success with Locus. And I think that's a glimpse into how the future of AI and logistics, AI and supply chain look together. Right. Let's just first quickly look at what's happening up in logistics. Right. So if you look at both retail and FMCG side, which are two big drivers for logistics, we see a big thing that there is a massive explosion in complexity, right? What I mean by that, sir, is previously I had Vaseline. Now I have Vaseline face, Vaseline feet, Vaseline intensive care, Vaseline Jojo bar, another Vaseline that looks like a salad, right? But the shelf space on your retail is roughly the same, right? So for one of the large retailers in Japan, we replenish 4 times a day because the retail space is that expensive. And instead of, when you're replenishing 4 times a day, you're delivering at a minute accuracy and everything becomes complicated. Why this complexity is even important to understand from the perspective is that for 40 years prior to this, the entire computer industry has been trying to come up with systems which connect your procurement, your manufacturing, your distribution to your sales. That one day there will be this holy grail of end-to-end forecasted systems. We are past that, right? That didn't happen in the last 40 years. And what has happened in the last 10 years is that you and I as consumers have entered into the supply chain. Till 10 years back, we would both go to a store and pull something from it, right? Today, if you realize, most of your packages are pushed down to you at your home, at your offices. It's almost like an app notification, right? So the complexity in agility, dynamism, lack of static information has also completely exploded 10 to 15 years. But the question remains, what's the limit of technology? What's the limit of AI? What's the limit of machine learning in operating this? And the way I always tell my team, my people, that a good way to look at how the world would look post AI, how the world would look post AI in logistics, supply chain, is to have a look at chess, right? Very interestingly, chess. Why do I say so? If you take a modern iPhone, Magnus Carlsen, the best chess player today, cannot beat an iPhone, not a supercomputer, not anything, right? The best human has an ELO rating of 3000, 3100, and an iPhone today runs at 3200, 3300, right? So the best human today can't beat a cell phone, and yet chess is more popular than ever than it was 10 years back. Right? So maybe there is some critical value of human doing things outside the algorithmic optimization itself. Right? I think the fact that things like Taj Mahal exist, the fact that beautiful ceilings like this exist, means that there is value in life beyond pure functionalism, beyond pure brutalism, beyond pure efficiency. As humans, we have value for that. We have value for that in our businesses, we have value for that in our processes, we have value for that in our monetization process. And I believe the value that humans bring into all of this, right, even though our compute has been doubling faster and doubling even more, is in managing the chaos. And that's where supply chain becomes a very, very interesting area for AI and machine learning, right? Humans are very, very good at solving the last 5 to 10%. Be it for entertainment, be it for algorithms, be it for lack of information, be it for ad hoc things. And now if you look at it, where did all of that have always existed? I would say supply chain. No more, edge cases are the name of the game in any logistic distribution. Even if you solve 99%, but if you have 10,000 orders to be dispatched of a single warehouse, you are at a complete loss of what to do there. And that's why you have to strive towards 99.5. That's why you have to strive towards 99.9. And if we look at all our experiences over the last 20 years, as we have improved on the curve of digitization, as our drivers have started adopting delivery apps, as tracking have become more and more normal, more and more pervasive, the number of the number of exceptions have dropped, but at the same time, consumer expectations have risen. What I mean by that is that today you have better technology to almost guarantee that this package will reach within this day, which even if you go back 10 years back was a great advancement. If you would tell a customer that, hey, I'm going to reach on 13th, the Friday, they'll be very happy, right? But that doesn't work today. Today you got to tell them, hey, you got to reach on 13th, 4 p.m., right? So effectively, you got better at managing the exceptions till the same day, but then the expectation of the consumer further increased, right? We also have to understand that logistics, as I was just talking about, logistics has no more remained a part, especially say post-COVID, right? It became a dinner table conversation. It wasn't just one person's responsibility as to how the food comes on the table, right? In COVID, all of us worried where we're going to get vegetables. And, if you were like me as a teetotaler vegetarian family, I really worried where I could get the chicken for my dog, right, during the COVID time. So suddenly it became dinner table conversations, right? So that's what logistics has become today. The consumer is part of it. The end consumer looks at e-commerce, it looks at AI, looks at a physical button the same way as they look at last mile logistics. You press a button, something happens, and last mile logistics today have crossed that chasm where it needs to function at the expectation of our parents, of our neighbors, of new users in tier 3, tier 4 city. It is no more the urban early trier. And that is where the best collaboration between humans and machines lie, in managing the chaos. Even inside my company, if previously senior software developers were managing junior software developers, today senior software developers are starting to manage the chaos created by junior AI writers. Previously, I had a team of content writers. Now I have a team of two people in the content team who manage the chaos generated by AI writing, right? So humans will evolve into something known as chaos managers. And I cannot think of a person better than at each level of logistics, at a rider dispatcher, at a warehouse manager, and as a centralized manager who's more well versed in being able to manage chaos. That's why more than logistics and supply chain just as an industrial domain, I think as individuals who are practitioners of operations in logistics and supply chain, I think we are really, really well set to focus on capitalizing this opportunity, because all we were previously used to doing was managing exceptions, managing chaos. There is no doubt with things like AI and machine learning into supply chain, there will be more and more automation. That more automation and optimization will further lead to slightly, edge cases because of increased expectation. Those edge cases will be needed by us to solve that chaos. So as chaos, as people who have been managing chaos for last 10 years, I think this is a particularly well-suited opportunity for us to continuously focus on increasing the automation in our order journey, in our distribution journey, so that we can focus on things that really matter, right? Increasing the revenue, improving the relationship with the clients, and launching new business models. And what do I mean really by, automating the order journey, right? I think today, as a technology platform, as an industry, we have gone beyond route optimization, right? Those route optimization and dispatchers is what what we call in logistics as effectively a dispatcher module, is what is being referred to as agents outside, right? So if anything, logistics and supply chain was one of the first users of agents, right? And today what you have are actually agents, a system of agents rather, that can run across the entire supply chain journey, right? So we have been wanting to create a TMS platform since the last 10 years, which takes an order from any point A to any point B and automates all the human decisions behind it, right? We started by doing a route optimization and geocoding engine. We moved towards doing it through all channels, captive, outsourced, insourced, then the first mile, last mile, mid mile. Today, effectively, what we can deliver for an organization, right, and what we believe the future would be, enabling every human in that process to think forward, to think on maturing the relationships, to thinking on covering the additional edge cases that will come from rising the expectations. What we expect is that once a system like Locus is set up through and throughout the organization, in any shipper or transporter organization, it can effectively, based on your past volume, current sports festivals, whether a World Cup is happening, current seasons, anticipate a surge in volumes. Based on its surge in volumes, it can go check your contracts, whether you have current captive and outsourced contracts. If not, it can actually go solve in that procurement. And today, when it's solving for this procurement, it can also solve with non-digital native clients. Instead of using APIs, the procurement engine can use natural language to negotiate the best rates for you. After it has negotiated the best capacity, it can take your any day or any week load, split it across the right channels, that what should be delivered captive, what should be delivered by an outsourced vendor, which should be the outsourced vendor, what should be the right rate of that outsourced vendor, deliver that, do all the pre-quality checks, do all the post-delivery checks, check for the transportation, check for the payments and reconciliation, and at the end of it, also check, after doing like a few hundred, few thousand orders, do you have the right network configured? Should you enable another last mile base? Should you enable another thing? So, because very specially, artificial intelligence can handle unstructured, incomplete data, which is omnipresent in logistics and supply chain, we stand at the cusp where we can completely automate not just an order journey, but an organization journey in supply chain and logistics through various legs, leaving us, the operators, to really focus on managing the last 1% of chaos, but that is what generates 10% of retention and 100% of additional revenue. Thank you.